Hey folks, Ebats here, patiently awaiting the patch notes and or release of version 29 to bring you the 10th episode of the free-to-play Glass Cannon series. I can't believe we're already on episode 10, but as they say, time flies when you're having fun, and if you're having fun, please remember to give the video a like, a subscribe, and if you haven't already, leave a comment about version 29. I really do enjoy hearing from everyone, and I look forward to seeing what you all have to say about it. So, I do want to give a shout out. As we've now opened up YouTube membership support, we've got 4 new members, and I'm super happy to have them. Sir Jinx, Skewer, Dumote, Owen Murray, thank you guys so much for subscribing. It's wonderful seeing the support everyone's been giving, and it just humbles me to see so many people wanting to jump in on this. If you guys are signed up as a founder and you haven't already filled out the tower review form and you want to have one, do so. I'm going to try to get you as soon as possible. It's just, life is busy. I have 3 video series I'm trying to keep pumping out, and with time being limited, I'll do my best to get to you when I can. Anyways, you guys came for the Glass Cannon series, so let's get the update started.
This video is brought to you by UgPhone. Have you ever turned on your chain lightning and felt the heat of 1,000 suns in your hand? Now, you don't have to make a Reddit post about how the tower destroyed your phone's battery. With UgPhone, you can farm 24/7 AFK completely in the cloud. You can access your cloud phone from any phone, computer, or tablet, and because it's not your device running the game, you experience none of the heat, battery strain, or electricity costs associated with constantly running the tower on your device. No more being tethered to your phone charger, missing phone calls because you don't want to disrupt your farm, or constantly worrying if the latest update will fry your phone entirely. Got multiple accounts? UgPhone has you covered. I use UgPhone's GVIP plan for all my various tower accounts, and switching between them is extremely easy. You can even run them all simultaneously with almost no local resources required. UgPhone has a variety of servers, so you're not forced to connect to a server halfway across the world and suffer from high latency. You can sign up for UgPhone using my referral link in the video description to get 4 free hours of UVIP, 50% off your first UVIP or GVIP purchase, and 488 diamonds to use as a discount or added time.
Alright, I don't remember exactly what we were at last time, and it has been a bit more than a week, but we're sitting at 460 billion coins, and we've been chugging away at, almost 1.4 billion per hour. We're above 2,000 stones finally, and, things are going, I'd say, about as well as I expected. We're still hanging out in Tier 3, doing what we can. Farming's been relatively same old, same old. It does kind of come down to how the perks shake out. Like you can see in this one, we haven't seen coin trade-off or our free golden tower yet, and hopefully we find them before Wave 2000. Otherwise, those are kind of lackluster runs. We've been mostly plugging away at Tier 3 when we can, and then I actually did a couple milestones recently. As you can see in here, I managed to get the Tier 13 Wave 100, and that was on the back of a lucky skip, a lucky death defy, and then utilizing all 3 of the nuke, demon mode, second wind, only to die on the Wave 100 boss. And then, because we currently have the get to whatever 2 below your highest tier is without a card, realize that as soon as I unlock Tier 14, I would be forced to do Tier 12 without a card to Wave 60, and I can probably do it, but I wasn't about to find out that I couldn't, so I went and ran my Tier 11 real quick, and didn't pay attention, went 100 waves without a card, and then unlocked Tier 14, and somehow, off miraculous skips, managed to get all the way to 72 before dying on the boss. So I don't think I'm going to go back and try it anytime soon. I'm pretty sure 15 is, a hope and a prayer away, but that was a pretty nice infusion of resources to get to. So we're getting close to our goals here in stone spending. As you can see, we are starting to rack them up. But yeah, otherwise farming has been primarily focused on Tier 3 during the day when I can fully pay attention to things, and Tier 2 or Tier 1 overnight. You'll see here that like in this Tier 3, we did attempt to do a Tier 3 overnight, and it just didn't work out. Turns out, really need that defense percent, really need that health to actually live through things. Got to be able to buy those levels. Our tower's just not strong enough to AFK yet, and because we are still relying on that free golden tower, we could take auto perks, and it's probably something I'll end up doing sooner than later, but right now, if you go auto perks, it's a recipe for not getting that free golden tower. So I'm still kind of forced to pick them. And as I'm kind of forced to pick them, I do like min-maxing, and that means not running my auto perk lab because we can just get more out of not doing it. This week's labs, we are pretty solid on that econ. That's how we're pushing that number up. we're into pushing up standard perk bonus. It's a pretty expensive lab, but it's really one of the things that is going to take us further in our runs and maybe potentially move us out of tier 3, getting the extra health and extra defense percent from it without having to work too much on those labs, because again, we are still trying to be glass cannon despite the fact that we were kind of forced to farm as EHP. So the more we can get out of standard perk bonus without having to run those labs that won't do much for us once we've kind of reached our, not necessarily final form, but the path we're trying to take. So it's important, and it's definitely worth saving 2 to 3 days for. The labs are also quite long right now, and you'll see we're sitting on a nice little bank of cells, just because of how randomly volatile things can be. Though I'm not trying to dip too far below 10k just in case things come up and I decide I want to run some dissonant or something. So we're still holding on to a couple 1.5 boosts. The things we've done this week are mostly in econ, but we have been running some daily mission shards. Spotlight coins coming up. We did some common drop chance. Like I said, mod labs, really important. The earlier you can get those mod labs going, the more they do for you. And I think for us in this position, our mod levels are going to matter a ton. I'm just kind of waiting on seeing what's coming in the next version. I keep saying it, but if we're getting any new modules or any just regular module banner that's lucky or something, I want to be prepared for that. So we haven't spent anything there, but we have done something exciting in modules, and that is, you'll see this is the setup I've been rocking. If you're following the videos, you'll know this is how I've been farming for a long while. But if you've really been paying attention, you'll notice Ohm Chip is now legendary. And we actually got it with Spotlight Angle, Spotlight Bonus, and a quick chain lightning damage. And those wouldn't necessarily be my first choices. I think it's still probably better to do chain lightning quantity and chance here. But the Spotlight bonus is pretty big. And the whole point of trying this out was to see in the tournaments and in other, situations where we're trying to push damage, if this can get anywhere near competing with Dimcore, because our Dimcore, much like our Primordial Collapse, these are both stuck at Epic, which means they're level locked at 60, and you'll notice I'm sitting on, 7,600 shards. So when we go ahead and equip the Ohm Chip, we can take this up to level 80, and our multiplier here is like a 2.17. I want to say it goes to like a 2.8. So that's a pretty hefty multiplier difference. So, we get some good mileage out of just having that higher level of a ultimate weapon multiplier. And then, the legendary extra 6-degree angle is pretty big. The fact that it has a little spotlight effect around the boss, giving an extra 4x damage amp to things around there, was just a kind of, I have the modules to merge it up. Let's see if it competes. And it did surprisingly well. I think the two runs I had in there, if we go to history, they're back to back. And the first one is with Dimcore. We did 871, and the second one was with using the Ohm Chip, and we did 868. So basically that's an RNG away from the same thing. The problem was, despite the fact that 800 waves in a lot of the gold brackets I've seen gets not only a promotion, but handily like third or second or even first place. Our bracket, fourth place was 1,300 waves. So it was a 9th place finish for this 800 some waves. It was god awful. I've seen some ridiculous gold brackets, but that one definitely took the cake. So we're still hanging out in gold, unfortunately, but it means we're not going to get kicked out of platinum. So I guess that's nice. The other thing we are working on in modules is I've got the negative mass projector up to legendary. And this one is more of a, theory crafting to see if it works out. But we managed to get defense percent on it, and it got a really, really quick legendary death defy. So I figured I'd keep that and click a couple times to see if anything relevant came up. And the first click was a legendary lifesteal. And I think it's bad. I don't actually want that, but I was going to take it over like the common defense absolute. That was the previous one. Really what I want on here is orb speed. So if we can get, and I might even unlock Death Defy for it, but if we can get one of these into orb speed, and you'll notice in the labs, I didn't actually say it then, but we're working on orb boss hit. And so this way, if we can line up our orbs in the perfect spot for the boss to be tagged while in energy net, I'm hoping that once we get to the point in the tournaments in which we need to tank those boss hits, that we can kind of hit a nice little medium of getting enough orb hits on there that it does kind of a damage reduction effect and helps us be able to tank that one boss hit a little longer while still doing decent damage to it. Because while we do get a little more health out of the multiplier here on this, fact that it's legendary plus, I'm thinking, or at least hoping, that the stacking effect up to 50%, like we're definitely not hitting enough times to max out that 50%. But if we can hit it like 5 times, maybe, now we're looking at 7.5% damage and speed reduction. And the speed reduction means doing more damage to it. So it's a thing I'm working on. And once it, is finished, air quotations, I'm going to give it a try just to see if it's a competitive option. And, if it's not, whatever. It's not that big of a deal, and we're starting to get to the point where we're actually banking reroll shards. So I don't feel bad working on little side projects and testing things out, because I do firmly believe that the tower, especially when it comes to your individual tower, is a game in which you should at least frequently be trying new things, because you never know. There might be a better option just sitting in your inventory, or something you haven't done in farming that you could do slightly differently that might increase things greatly. So if you're just sitting there doing the same old and passing up on something that's either off meta or just seems a little harebrained, I don't know, give it a try. It's fun. It's always nice to feel like you came up with this thing that your tower can take advantage of that isn't the average thing people are doing. Also, in things that we're doing that other people aren't doing, let's see what we get here. Inner landmines, boo! Let's go home. And yeah, you can see this this horrible 871 for 9th. We're still saving up these stones for our workshop. It's going to be Spotlight Quantity 3, and then a little bit of Spotlight angle development once we get that Spotlight Quantity 3 going. And this, I'm hoping, is going to be enough of an econ boost for us, and maybe start working towards the point where we're not necessarily farming glass cannon, but we're farming in a way that we're actually like turning on chain lightning to go further in waves to kill things faster or efficiently enough. And I don't know quite where that'll make a true turnover from just the classic EHP farming, but I feel once we get some decent spotlight coverage, A, we're going to get more coins out of it because we're in the Spotlight Lab and it's our second source of coin bonuses, and B, maybe it is the thing we need to start doing some early glass cannon-ish farming. We'll see. The other thing that I haven't started doing, but I think is going to be in the slightly distant future, is instead of grabbing the next ultimate weapon, I guess we can go over again because we have the stones. We can, ongoing round. Never mind, can't show you. I'm thinking it's going to be a weird, because Chronofield's in there. We have the option of trying to build a really early Chronofield and sink a ton of stones and a ton of time into doing a bunch of labs to get nowhere for a long time until it's great. Or we could just go early perma black hole. And I mean early perma black hole. And that might be the second piece that we need to start farming as true glass cannon, where we can just have everything but bosses and elites sucked into the black hole. We can even get some either damage reduction depending on how our primordial collapse continues to develop. If we get more of those, great, I'll keep them. And if not, maybe we farm with dim core in perma black hole and see if we can do enough damage to keep bosses off of us. But that way we'll also boost up our econ a fair amount, because if we can get to perma black hole, that's again our best coin multiplier, and we need as much of that as we can because we have no plans on taking an actual golden tower anywhere in the near future. We're going to continue to rely on that perk golden tower, and that perk golden tower is near impossible to sink without multiverse nexus. So I think right now chain lightning is about as high as I want to take it in the immediate future, and working on both spotlight and black hole as our econ so we can get what we need to work on our workshop damage, which is still at 2,000, and our health, which we've taken up a little higher at 2,600. But there's so much of a deficit here. We need to be able to start taking these up into the 4,000, 5,000 range, and that just takes trillions of coins, and that means we need to get trillions of coins. So that's our plans in that respect. It's going to be slow going, but we'll get there eventually, and when we do, hopefully it works out and it's great. As for what's been going on in the events, you can see we continue to frivolously spend metals on stones because that's who we are. We did snag the lab speed. Can't not snag the lab speed. And there is tower damage here, but again, A, we don't even have the metals for it right now. And B, there's just 5% damage. There's a lot of sources of 5% damage, so we're not grabbing that one. One thing we did grab, though, is bot range. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Bot range is one of those relics. It's just really good. Our bot is still underdeveloped, but this is a forward-thinking one. It was only 600 gems, so we totally grabbed it. We are passing on the knockback force, and I'm not actually 100% that I should be passing on this. It's possible we really need it. But I think because we're trying to build up enough damage that hopefully we're killing things, we don't actually have to juggle them as much as we do just kill them. So I'm using that as mental gymnastics to not pick it up. And then super critical chance, would be good for us. But again, these gems, there's so much we have to do with our gems. And thankfully, recovery amount, we can totally easily pass on. So we're waiting on those. We're saving up these gems for version 29, which hopefully is right as I press the release button on this video so we can all feel silly together. And then in the bots, we have taken up range a little bit. We've got our bonus still chugging away. They're not high, but every time we get a little extra metals, they do go into that golden bot and it'll slowly become great. And then we're going to get bot presets, and then I can build amp bot for tournaments, or maybe it's actually Thunderbot. I don't know. We'll play around with a lot of things depending on how they handle the respecs, how much the labs cost. Maybe I can't even get bot presets because it costs a queue. I don't know. We'll find out. No one knows yet, or at least I don't know yet as I'm recording this. So that's what's going on there. In our guilds, our Guardian continues to develop. I actually haven't spent last week's bits, but they are going to go right back into summon. We have our summon 2 to 3 sync with our black hole, and we're just going to keep pumping that duration. Gives us a little extra cash, which again, we do still care about in those farming runs. So that will give us, slightly more coins because our fetch is at the point where, again, we're not right on the daily reset, but kind of close to the daily reset. We're easily capping out our gems and our metals, and we're getting some modules, and I'm happy enough with that. I think coins is going to be such a big bottleneck for this account that I absolutely just need to be pumping into summon as much as I can. So that's how we're spending those in the guild store. We are almost buying our last cosmetic. We were slightly hampered by the fact that we needed to get the fetch chip, and we spent the module gems back in the lucky banner at the start of the season. So we had those taken care of, and then it is going to be nice to be able to snag this attack speed relic, and I might even grab this, as we'll probably get it before the next tournament. We'll see. I'll go into the tournament, and if it's like a game of inches, I'll probably just buy the attack speed instead of saving up to buy the seahorse, even though the seahorse is really pretty and I like it. If it means getting an upgrade and getting more stones, I want to get an upgrade and I want to get more stones. Likewise, those module shards are just hanging out. We'll get to them when we get to them. We got 20 days left. There's no rush. But that's how we've been spending those kind of weekly improvements. And I think that mostly covers where we've been. We did show off the milestones. I might actually be closer. We hit 40, almost 4,200 on tier 7. So it might be time to go and run tier 6 and grab it. It's just it's a defense absolute relic. It couldn't be any worse for us. And then we got tier 5, which we should be able to get no problem, as well as tier 4. So these are probably something I will maybe tackle as we try to move out of tier 3. We've done all our tier 3 dissonant. We haven't done any tier 4. So I might just start it off seeing how well we can fare in a tier 4 attack dissonant, and cross our fingers that we've been getting more powerful and can actually survive to 4,500 and get the milestone on the attack dissonant, but I'm not going to hold my breath for it. It's just, we got to get those workshops pumped up if we're going to do that. So that's how we're doing in overall milestones. And I think our plan in labs for the upcoming week is going to be continue all the econ development we're doing. I think I will slowly return one of our lab slots to crit factor and get some more attack speed, get some more damage in. I keep calling it a glass cannon account. I should really run these. The other thing we still need to finish out a little bit of, shock chance is still a little low for my liking. But like, it's getting long, and I feel like right now we got to get that workshop improved. The longer we go with a subpar workshop, the harder it is to get out of things. So they're in a decent spot. They're going to stop for a while, and I'll get to them when I get to them. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching along with us, and everyone who subscribed. We're approaching 700 members, and at 1,000, remember, I'm about to do that Stone Pack giveaway. It's going to be one lucky watcher. I'm thinking we'll do something fun and make the entry based on finding a keyword or phrase or something in one of the videos. So it'll be a little bit of a treasure hunt, but anyone can get it who's watching. And when we get to that 1,000 members, we'll get more details on how we're going to run that. But if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't hit the subscribe button, in the words of Spartan, what are you doing? Just give it a click. I promise it won't hurt. Until next time, where hopefully we all have Guardian presets and every other wonderful thing that was previously locked behind keys, keep it real. Keep those squares, triangles, and pentagons off your hexagon.